person. Okay. Thank you. Welcome to tonight's Board Oversight Committee. It is March 19th and it is 6:35. We will start our meeting tonight. Call to order. Can we start with the roll call, please?
Committee members, when I call your name, Sancho present. Jose Altamirano.
Present.
Rosa Diaz.
Present.
David Giordano.
Present.
Yoso Ramos.
Present.
Russell Schuler. Derek Stampone.
Present.
Candy Vivas Vasquez. We have quorum.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we're going to move along. We're adopting tonight's agenda, our mission, adopting our minutes. Anyone? Okay, perfect. Do we have any announcements?
I have a couple of them.
Sure. I shouldn't have said that. Let's take announcements.
You didn't make them all at full board?
For future purposes, board oversight will not have announcements.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
No.
okay, so, East Harlem Community Partnership, we're having a civic education forum with judges, Kathleen Guadamin Marshall and Aja Tingling on Tuesday, March 24th at 4:15 p.m. to 6 p.m. The address is 71 East 111th Street, second floor, and if you have any questions, please email ceo@bcctogether.org. We're also having an informational and empowerment, Know Your Rights, with actions being discussed during the meeting, the workshop. And it's also about knowing your, not just knowing your rights, but how to, like who to reach out with regards to habeas corpus, and what is the difference between a notary and an attorney in the United States, because in my country, a notary is also an attorney. How to know the differences when people are committing fraud, and what to do if you're stopped by agents outside the streets. This is happening on April the 10th from 5 to 7 p.m. Again at the East Harlem Community Partnership, same location. And on Friday, March.
You're working from
27th.
April to March?
Sorry. Friday, March 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the East Harlem Community Partnership. We're having a community get-together to discuss White Playground, conversations and connections. There will be raffles, giveaways, free dinner. Please let us know when you can make it. And lastly, Community Resource Fair at PS 38 Roberto Clemente Learning Complex, located at 232 East 103rd Street. Enter to the 102nd Street. We're having mental health support, immigration guidance, summer enrichment and camp, food pantry, adult education class, notary services, fair applications, and more. Join.
What day was it?
March 28th, starting at 10 a.m.
April 10th is gonna be our second board party, so you
I
have
know, I'm gonna
competition
come a
there.
little bit late.
And that is my birthday.
I will come and celebrate your birthday.
She came late last time too, but she stayed late, so it's
That's
worse.
true. I ended up,
Thank you, Rosa.
we stayed till like 1.
Okay, we move forward. 6:39, we wasted 9 minutes. But we started 6:35, so it's only plus 1. Just kidding, I'm kidding. Okay. Attendance procedures. We agreed last month that we were sticking with the 4 until September. Rosa, does anyone fit within our criteria? A 4?
I will check right now, I did not check that. You can do the thing.
I want to thank our council person for checking up on us. It's always appreciated that you're here with us. I'll say encarnaciones on Zoom. 4, 3, 2, 1.
No problem. Thank you. You show up at my meeting, I show up at yours.
That's true. And you think we can put up the attendance and put it on the, so we can make it, yeah, that page, perfect. I don't think we have, but it's
I don't
good.
think so either.
It's good to like just check it. I think that's something we're gonna be continuously doing, and if someone falls into criteria. Kind of person to go there. Full board looks like everyone's fine, but you notice a lot of threes there, right?
Are they threes from people who left?
There were,
Yeah.
So first three,
okay.
yeah, she's down, Mackenzie. Morris is current. Yeah, remember.
She hasn't replied, so we don't have
I don't believe she has.
Yeah, I think it's not two.
And then the
Why
last
each?
Okay.
Just not just.
that's for full board.
Yep.
Did you want me to go through the committee?
Please. I love that it's already highlighted. All right, see, we have
Bylaws is.
1, 3 there.
Yeah, so that was.
Asher. But that bylaws is this.
It doesn't count anymore.
Uh,
So that's fine, 2, 1. Just come in. They didn't have quorum in January, huh? I didn't know that. Yeah, it sucks when you have quorum. We had a current person.
And 1, 3, Jason was also gone. Elections over. Arts.
It's Marina Phillips, right?
So the first, Fernando Alvarez, is that 3?
Okay.
Robin's gone, Sam, is that 3?
It's 4 on 2 committees, so you gotta make
It's not the same ratio, but it's up to.
It's gotta be, right now it's gotta be 4 on each, and we're gonna change that.
We're gonna change that to executive.
It wasn't at 2/3 of all.
Yes,
Ballot board.
it's cumulative, yeah.
We're doing the we're rolling that out right away?
Bylaws right now. are
It's cumulative now.
Yeah, you're right. I just didn't know.
So you could miss all of one.
Yeah, exactly, that's what
And then-
sucks.
Well, he's always been a great idea, and I agree with
He's
him.
going alright.
So, we're on housing now, John has 3, that's through February, March needs to be updated. I think he's at 4.
Can I ask a question? Are we going, because we've been doing 4 on 2 committees up to
We're
now.
just doing 4s. We're doing 4, because we had agreed last
We're
month.
rolling on September.
Yeah,
Right.
this.
So we're doing the same thing we've
We're
always done.
just looking to see if
Okay, all right.
anyone that has met a 4, so that we
Gotcha.
can start that procedure
Gotcha.
tonight and be very quick
I don't
about
think
it.
so.
But it's good practice to kind of go through that.
John Sanders has 3,
And what we can do is we can have our dear and great secretary to like start alerting them every month, hey, you are at 3. If we were pushing this, I know, if we were putting this into perspective, you would have been called up. That way they have from here to September, like no one can say like, they didn't know. You know,
What-
like,
what are you
it's a
warning
very
people
fair
at?
rollout.
What's the threshold on full board right now and committee to warn people?
When I see on 2 committees
What
of
else?
the same person that have like 3, I'm like, hey,
And full board?
full board, when it's 4, I let,
You tell me when
when
you.
it's 3 to 4,
Yeah, it's
because we meet at executive and we do the attendance.
I don't think
during
anyone's
the-
gonna fall into it, but I'd just rather check.
If, I don't know if you noticed, but on executive, I give my little full report with everyone's name on it.
Yeah, and as we get closer to like June, we should be like at the 2, be like, hey, if you have another miss,
Yeah.
because in September, we're going back 6 months.
Right.
So then we should be warning them, like if you have 2 now,
You missed
you're actually in the threshold now. So if you have 2 and you miss another one, then you would be in that.
But that will be after.
No, start doing it
September,
now.
we're going
Yeah.
to the 3,
We gotta do it now.
which would
to
include
get ready.
June, May, April, March, February, January. So from January to June, we would be looking at that period. And if someone had 3 absences, we would start the procedure. And we would send them
In
to executive
September.
in September. That's why
So
we're
whoever
warning them
had-
now.
In the, like, even though it's a new fiscal year,
It goes
No,
back
we
6
don't do
months.
that. That's how you've been doing, well,
Goes
not
back
you.
six-
That's
yeah,
how
yeah.
we've been doing it. That's
Everybody
incorrect.
gets away.
It's a revolving
It's
Every
every
month starts. from
Here's what my
Yeah.
suggestion is, at two on two committees, so two absences on, one member, if they miss two on each committee, warn them, if they miss two full boards, warn them.
Does anyone do?
I'm
Just
like
two.
housing, I put in housing stuff from this, from March.
Oh,
So you
got it.
have, yeah, a couple of.
Oh, yeah, take your
Getting
time.
better at being
I
succinct.
have it, it's covered now. So John is at 4, with the change. Marie is.
But
at
he's only
3.
4 in one place, right? He's 3 at the other one, I saw.
He needs to be warned.
And Jason's, but just John.
Okay.
So now human services, so we're at 4. Human services looks good. Land use.
Good. I have 3 in there.
Lenny is at 3.
Carlos Diaz is over here.
Business licenses and permits.
Carolyn.
Carlos, Judith,
He's got his other one.
and oversight. We just started meeting, so that's easy.
You guys better have good attendance here.
Mine is
2 meetings
perfect.
and 3 absences. Public safety.
Leonard Hopkins.
Carlos has 3. One has 4. Carolyn John, that's that. But enough of what's left.
Okay, you are. Youth. We have 1 3, 2 3s. Just
Morris
Morris.
3 and
Loretta?
so,
And she has a lot of links.
yeah, task force hasn't met yet, so.
Okay. Good, that was easy, easy. We're gonna continue to like warn people, Rosa, will send her emails and me and them will actually I'll try to call them personally so that they can be aware, so that way, I'm sorry, they're gonna have to put their volume on. It's either that or I lose my voice. But we're gonna do everything possible so that everyone is aware, so that in September, when we look at January because we're barely in March, so you can kind of fix everything unless
That's
you've
the point.
already missed 3,
That's the point,
which then it gets,
to give them a chance to fix it.
so we're giving every chance possible.
So after the meeting last time and this whole conversation about the summer, we meet, we don't meet, all of that, and I started looking at what some of the other boards do, and they treat it on a September, that's where it starts, and then it counts from there, and it doesn't look back to over the summer months or into the previous spring. I feel like that is just a simpler way to go. I still think we can move quickly on people who aren't coming, because if they don't come September, October, November, well, they're on track to sort of be in trouble at the 6-month mark. So we can notify them then and bring them in, and then the actual vote to remove them would happen at that point. And I just think it's clear. The other thing in watching this got me thinking.
Could we expand on that?
Yeah, sure.
So what exactly, because in September, we're going to look at the last 6 months, which is January to June.
He's saying
I'm saying
reset it.
don't do that.
When do you look at it?
So what you would say is if
No, but I want to know,
Yeah, so-
that's not going to be looked at, so
Yeah.
when would we look at it?
So if we stick with the member shall attend no less than 2/3 of all meetings,
When do we
right?
look at it?
So then as soon as you have been absent enough that you would trigger that. So if you've been absent twice, that means you will not be able to be present in 2/3 of meetings in a 6-month period. So
But
you
then
only have to wait
that
two,
would
you have
also-
to wait 2 months.
But here's
in
where
order to-
I get confused, because let's say from January to June, you miss every meeting,
We should remove you.
but we would be removing you in September.
Right, I'm saying
See what I mean?
because you also have people who are joining at different times.
But we have to base
So if
them
you
on
have
their,
people- Yeah, but
they
if
wouldn't miss it. If they joined in May and
So
they
if
would
you
have only
say
missed 2 months.
If you say the previous, this was the confusion, because it was, well, if we meet in July, we don't meet in July, we meet in August, we don't meet in August. So let's say I'm a newly appointed member, right? And I missed that first meeting, and I missed that second meeting, right? And now it's the
And
September.
that happens.
You're saying I should be removed right then and there,
So I don't know.
because it will have been 6 months. It will
No.
have included.
Because it's only the months they attended, so it wouldn't include.
Do you think the
Previous.
summer is part of what creates this confusion?
Somewhat, because if we meet
I
or
can
we
solve
don't meet, then it's, are we using it or are we not using
Could you
it?
speak on that, because we had a conversation.
I'll fix that problem right now. The only committee that will ever meet in the summer is executive, even if it's liquor licenses, we'll just do them. So my expectation is if you're on executive, you're gonna be held accountable, right? That's the group that is gonna always be held accountable. We should all be held accountable the same, but, so then our attendance would count those summer months, and nobody else would ever have to worry about the summer, because they didn't meet, and we won't count those months. So when we do the 6-month period, that doesn't apply to them. So if it's in September, they're really looking back 6, you know what I mean, like without those months.
So it's 6 months of meetings or 6 calendar months?
6 months of meetings.
So
I think-
that's where I think.
I think if we use 6 months of meeting, it's a very simple solution.
Right,
For
but
instance,
some
I'll give you an
committees don't
example of
meet
one of
every
them,
month.
July, and I thought of it, I forgot. I
You
just
know,
remembered it right now when you
seems
said
like
it. A ULERP comes up. A ULERP comes up, and a ULERP is a very important thing, and their timing isn't always great. Someone mentioned this to me. Let's say it comes up in July, and then we have to meet, because you want to have a public hearing for ULERP, because it is a big, it's not good to do it in executive.
Oh, so you mean that we have to have a full board?
But that I think would be like the few exceptions to it. But I don't think we should overcomplicate this if we simply say.
Well, I think going back 6 months and knowing that some committees like district needs and budget traditionally has not met every single month.
But it doesn't count against you. If you don't meet, it doesn't count against you.
So then for that committee, you would have to go back an additional month.
No, we
Because
just
you
wanna
have
do
to get
6 months.
6 months worth of meetings.
We're making this more
That's,
complicated.
I agree, that's the point I
You
think
know,
I'm trying
the
to.
problem has never been counting who's been out and
It's
missing
been
meetings.
enforcing it.
It's been enforcing it and getting people off, and then
Yeah,
that's what it's been. So whatever period of time we take, let's just make the line in the sand and you draw it. We're spending a lot of time going back and forth, and what the real process is, bringing somebody in, you've missed this amount of meetings.
I agree, and so.
Can I wait for 1 second? Because Lisa had her hand up. Lisa?
No.
Thanks, Joe. I know.
A lot of that will be, I don't want to get too into it, because that is going to be solved in executive. In executive, they will be a change of the bylaws, we will be addressing that particular language. So I don't think we should be overly thinking, it's not this committee's position, or something that will be resolved in executive, because that's a bylaw change, because in the bylaws right now, you can look at any 6 months. I could, I don't like you,
Yeah,
and I could go back a year ago. And be like, you missed attendance a year ago, because it says.
If you look at any period of time, whether it's 6 months or a year, has the person been part of participating?
Yeah, I think-
Have they been there?
The idea is just the last 6 months.
Well, can I say one thing? I think the people that need to keep track know how to keep track, right? That's not gonna be an issue. Whatever system we put in, we'll know how to count it, we'll know what it is. I agree that it can't be any 6 months, because that is very weird wording. We gotta get rid of that. But if we just made it the last 6 months, that's one little edit, we know how we're counting, right? And I agree, I think you have a good idea, but at the end of the day, it's the same requirement. And here's the thing, if you're gonna miss that many meetings and you're being brought in and we know our system, we're like, there you go. We don't have to worry if everybody understands it or not, right? We have a rule, we know how to implement it, and we know how to enforce it, and we're done.
It's our practice. I think we ran into this situation when we brought up the Robert's rules and then it conflicted. No, we have a practice, and that's what we're talking about, the practice. This is our practice. We look back 6 months from today. We just did it. We just looked back 6 months, and no one fit the criteria. Very easy peasy. That's it.
I think another thing to consider is, I'm an example of this, where I was on a committee and then I'm no longer on that committee and now I'm on a different one. So we have to have like, there is the math behind, like, well, how many committees could you have been at? And then, because right now, what the bylaw says
2/3 of all meetings.
is 2/3 of all meetings of all committees. So you'd have to, like, if I missed one committee and I come off that committee and go to a different one,
You
like,
can miss
that
every
one there.
committee
That's how he's
on
towards
one.
Right, it's still a
Right,
number.
but we don't have a page on here that says, this is the total number of.
We gotta
committees.
create
We have
that.
to create
Yeah.
that.
But that'll be an
We'll create
executive
Yeah,
as
because
well.
I think that's another thing.
Because an
It
executive,
isn't just 4 and 1, like.
I
that's
made
actually
it already.
relevant. We
I already
have to
made
have
the
that.
Excel sheet.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
goes
in
with
an
that.
executive, the plan is to like make every committee and to remove it from being 2/3 of a cumulative situation, right? Right now, we're looking at, like, you're on 2 committees, 2/3 of the 2. And I think one of the goals we're talking about, which will be discussed at executives, because we can't make that decision here. We can just converse about it. But it'll be that every separate committee gets looked at individually.
Right,
Because
right.
right now, it's very unfair.
Right.
You can be amazing in public safety and you can be terrible in land use and nothing can be done to you.
Right, but.
No, but that is
if you
how
look
we're
at each
doing it
com-
right
if you-
now.
That's how we're doing it now.
But if you look at
Yeah,
each
but
committee
we were,
separately,
you know,
you can
but
get
that'll
out
be
of
a
it.
change at
Maybe
executive.
one my life, I'm like having so much hard time, like
Okay.
everyone, I'm sorry, I just.
Sure, Rosa.
We're making them more complicated.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, that's a discussion we're having. It's not something that will be done here. We're just talking about it.
Then, you know what, I don't know if I need to be part of this committee, because if we're not part of making any decisions that go forward. I mean, all committees make decisions through motions, and then they get ratified either through executive.
Yeah.
But it's redundant to
I
keep
think
hearing
I
that-
that.
mentioned
think
that because it's a
that-
bylaw change.
I know, but it's very discouraging. Well, the bylaws had its own committee, so they couldn't make things, they could, right? And it still has to go.
It's
But I
because
didn't
it's a
say
bylaw
that
change.
last
That's why I
month.
say
I
that.
thought I said the complete opposite. I said that you guys can vote and
Yes.
we'll pass them,
Yeah.
Right, but
ratify them.
But
every other 5 minutes I'm hearing,
I think it's just getting used to the thing. I would ignore that
There's-
and
I
understand.
there's
can't ignore it.
Okay.
I mean, you can choose not to ignore it.
Because then
that's
I'm
fine.
saying, then what am I putting my time here? I should just tell executive and put my 2 cents in there.
Well, I think it's I think the wording is off. I think, Jose has no reason to want to send it there. He's the chair of this committee.
I'm just saying.
There's certain things that do with bylaws that we can't change here. That's what I'm telling you.
No, you don't
If
have
you
no
don't wanna
say in
accept it-
bylaws, but you do
No,
have
I
to
know,
say
but
in
there's
changing
certain-
attendance rules
There's
and voting
certain
on them.
things with the bylaws the way they're written now, with the 6 months, and that will be changed at executive. That's what I'm mentioning to you. Not that we can't have procedure here. We're
Well,
actually saying
bylaws
the
actually
opposite.
get changed when full board votes on one after 60 days of being informed of.
All of that.
So let's, if we're gonna talk process,
Yes.
then let's talk the correct process. It's not the executive that makes the changes, it's the executive that proposes the changes.
To the bylaws committee or to this committee?
No, but they
No,
say
the
the
full
full
board.
board.
To the full board.
They make a recommendation.
For a bylaw change,
Whose recommendation, is it gonna come out of this?
no, it goes from the executive.
He's saying none of it goes anywhere out of here. We can't make decisions.
I said, we
Anything is
can't
not
make
a decision.
bylaw changes here. That's what.
We
it's
can't,
saying.
and we can't, you make him an executive as you are.
You can,
No,
you
you
can
can't.
send it to full board.
Well, that's the same for every committee. Anything
Right.
we vote on a committee has to go to a full board.
Right.
Look, I guess I'll say this, and I thought I said it last month, and maybe we'll be clear once and for all. You guys want to vote to change it from 4 to 3 to 7 to 6, go ahead and vote on it. And then if we're gonna ratify it at executive, we will. I said this last month,
Yeah.
that unless there was new information or you guys, which I don't think would ever happen, just made a mistake, we will adopt the positions as they are. And if we get comfortable enough, then maybe we skip that middle step. It's a new thing. But you guys can take motions and implement changes. Nobody said that. I don't think anyone ever said that.
Great, so we're gonna make a decision tonight.
And you can vote on it.
Awesome. Let's do it. So attendance.
Now we have to agree on it.
Well, that's your problem. So vote. I
What
would
would we be
love for
voting
you,
on exactly?
whatever you want. No,
It's a bylaw thing. The 2/3, right? Well, let's talk about this clearly.
So where's the
So
bylaws?
it's 2/3. The bylaws say 2/3. That's a very
Of all
strict thing.
meetings.
So in the last 6 months, if you miss more than 3, you no longer fall into that procedure. right? You are brought up. That's what we're doing here. That's why we went through everything here to make sure. Here, we're doing it here. Now, last month, this committee decided that we're not going to implement the 3 until September to give people an opportunity because we have consistently used 4, which is incorrect. 4 is not 2/3. 2/3 means it says you have to attend 2/3. So 6 is 4. So if you attended 4, you're fine. But once you pass 3 absences, you can never have attended. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it works. But for a very long time, we were doing 4 absences. Now this committee last month decided we're not going to implement that until September. We took the rule and it went, everything's beautiful. So that is what this committee decided.
So then today?
So today, nothing. We're just
Okay.
repeating that.
No, I'm
I'm
not
like, I'm just
saying
making
that
sure, but we're getting a little like,
in cases that.
So
I
it is
just
still-
got in
it
here,
is-
of course, I am
yeah.
late.
it is still the position of this committee that in September, we will start using 3, unless anyone happens to change. But we do have to understand
But
that.
then let me ask this, just
Sure.
to be devil's advocate based on what you say.
Yes.
How can we make that determination if that's a bylaws and we're not changing the bylaws?
It's already in the 2/3 is the
Right, but then we can't change that.
We were doing it wrong with the 4. We were not following the bylaws with the 4. 4 absences out of 6 is you already passed because you're supposed to attend 2/3. The question isn't absent 2/3. You're supposed to attend 2/3. So 2/3 is 4 out of 6. It's very simple. We've been doing it wrong. That's really the problem. So we have not been following the bylaws. And after we looked at it, we're like, it should be 3, which means you've missed 50% of the meetings.
Okay, but let me just ask you this.
Sure.
Is this, because the bylaws, to me, right now, is a gray area in the sense that when you're saying the 2/3 of the meetings, right? Is that including the 2 committees? Like right now, you're saying it should be decided on by committees and also the full board.
It's separate.
It's separate, okay, fine. So the person shows up to all the full board meetings and not the committee.
Then they're gonna be
Then
called
you're
up.
getting pulled out. But then that person shows up to all the committees and not the full board.
They're still gonna be called up.
Okay.
The
So-
only thing what we've changed is that we were doing
Per committee?
doing our bylaws incorrectly. That's what happened. We were looking at it, we were waiting for people to get to 4 absences and then calling them up, which is like as egregious as you could possibly be. Even at 3, you're at 50%, which means you haven't been here half the time. Rosa, you had
Yeah, I just wanna like clarify something. When you say like we were doing it wrong, it was because we were informed incorrectly, and that's exactly what we keep on doing it. You're doing it.
it's not anything, we're all of us. We just really didn't.
Nobody's paying attention to the bylaws, let's just be real about
That's
that.
all it is. That's why I said we.
Whatever I'm taught, I will continue to do. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Cause like now now I have to erase everything that I was taught
Yeah.
to actually do it the correct way. So thank you.
Which we decided last month that we would start in September. That's all.
Okay, but we're gonna then base it off of per committee también.
That, we'll do the
No,
committees.
because he brought up per committee and
No,
he
no.
brings up a valid thing, could be that if that individual.
That's
I
where
think-
I say,
Let me just say
yes.
this, if we're gonna be doing this, and this is coming out of the grievance committee, not just by the bylaws, because I think that if someone is being out, at least by that second time, let's give a courtesy outreach to them and let them know, hey, something could be going on, we don't know, life happens, right? And so just say, hey, as a warning, I just wanna give you a heads up that in case you're not paying attention to
Yeah.
your attendance, this is how many days you've been coming out. I know you're looking at me with, blinking. I don't know what is your tactics to communicate with people, so I'm not gonna go there with you, Rosa. I just wanna put it out there as a whole.
What happens is
that
that
they
Rosa's
should be
been doing it. She's been emailing everyone.
But
That's
not
why
at like you at the third, you gotta come and show up in front of everybody. That's a different story.
Yeah.
It's a different communication. All right, I'm suggesting.
Which we agreed on, just
Part of- And part of what
Right,
we,
to let them know that all committees, but in all the committees that they're not just like an overall, you're out on this day.
no,
This
absolutely.
committee, you showing up at, like he said, I will show up at this place, but now I'm being turned off with this committee. I don't wanna go to them, or maybe my schedule's not working, which supposedly, every board member should be the one to say, I can't come anymore to this committee because I can't commit myself like I once upon a time could have. You know, they could at least come and say something to
Or they can reach out to the
You
chair
guys.
and
They
say,
have,
Right.
and I
change
put them
my
somewhere else.
committee.
Right,
Go ahead,
right.
Rosa.
Right, so for everyone's information, what has been happening is whoever has had 3 missed committee meetings in 2, right? I will give them a call. I will email them. And then when it's on 4, we will have, I believe, Angel send out the 4 like due process.
But no more for though.
No,
Right,
it's
because that's
still-
new, that's something new, that's what I'm saying, I now have to erase everything, that was just for your information, because we do, when we met at executive, we will go over attendance every single month.
So, but now that's not gonna happen, that
So,
executive's gonna be here.
It's not, yeah, so it'll be in
Oversight.
April, May, and June, we still meet. And we will hold people accountable for the 4.
Okay, but my question.
But starting in September, it'll be at the 3.
But it is gonna come through the oversight committee, no
Yes.
longer the executive committee.
It will come here first, yes.
Can I say something? Just, we're running around a circle. The
No,
rules
I
are
think
not,
everyone's being.
you think so?
Yeah, I think
I
everyone's
say we
getting
say the
clarity.
last 6 months, we never count the summer months. How about that? We just,
No,
we don't count them.
shouldn't.
Even if we have a meeting, we
should.
just don't count them. So it's a 10-month, 6-month rolling window. It's 3 full boards in 6 months, or 2/3 of your committee meetings combined in 6 months. And you get a warning at 2 full board meetings missed, or 2 of each committee, and we're done.
Right.
Can we do it? And we start that in September. In the meantime, we continue with our
4.
procedures that we haven't been, and we all haven't been doing them correctly, and that's fine, and that's it. Can we do that?
Yeah.
No, I think everyone's been getting that clarity.
All
It's
right.
just- I think we're like,
Summer-
I think we're working through the
Yeah.
process, because I think it's a new thing, and I just
Finding out
wanna make
the
sure
rules.
everyone's clear, so we're not like,
But we're gonna send a notice to them.
they've been getting notices. Everyone's been getting notices.
That as of September.
Oh, that too.
Pa' que así.
That's your job.
That's, yeah, I'm gonna be calling them, just be like, I intend to just reach out and call people, be like, hey, just
No,
remember,
that's not what
you're
she's
at this
saying.
point. No, I know what she's saying.
No, that's not what she's saying. She's saying to notify everybody of this change, not just the people in jeopardy. One email to the full board letting them know that starting in September, this will be a policy, so that no one can challenge it.
And it has to be more than once because of the new members in May.
Coming next, right?
So then 2 emails, done.
It'll be April, we'll send an email every month, how's that?
Late May.
Every
Well,
month, June?
listen.
He'll schedule the same one
Yeah,
every
yeah,
day.
it'll be the same thing. All right, go ahead.
Maybe we should just keep it in the website.
So, I feel like if we're thinking about the process,
Right?
we had talked about, I agree, David, there are people that have been very egregious with not coming, and we're just not following through and removing those folks. And I think we have to set up our process, and we gotta stick with it.
But we looked through
I
it, they
think-
haven't been that bad,
Well, we're
honestly.
talking like
They've improved,
in the past.
they've been
And
improved. From last year, we just saw that, we went through the attendance in the beginning.
No, we just got rid of the people that were notorious.
Yeah. We've also talked to like other people that were
Yeah, we've been
notorious.
having calls.
People have gotten a lot better.
We've gave them some more.
But the,
No, but how many members do we have in the full board right now?
39, I think?
39, that's
Wow.
pitiful. That's pitiful.
Wow,
40?
that's a big
We're getting rid of
drop.
Jose in a couple of minutes.
Oh, it is 40? Sounds better than 39.
so I
I'm
bring it,
also fasting, I'm sorry if I'm angry. I
so I bring it up
And
because
Oh,
the
okay.
testing ended.
Don't forget you guys.
at one of our executive committee meetings where we were having a due process hearing, there's just this question about like, how are we giving this person an opportunity to do better, right? We come from the field of education, right? People can't change what they did in the past. They didn't come, it's about the going forward, and then it is like a 3-month check-in to say like, hey, you hit this number, we talked about it, you missed one more, you're here for the hearing, and then I would like if we said, okay, there's this opportunity to fix it, and whatever, I hope we pick a number of months. I think the expectation should be you have to come to all of them and give that person that opportunity,
Like a probation?
a probation period.
Yeah, we were talking about.
And so if we go, and so if we're looking at it, if someone has missed 3 times in a 3-month period, and then you bring them in, and then they need to improve in the following 3 months, all of that is still kind of all happening within like a 6 to 7 month period. And I think we'll still kind of accomplish that goal of like, Similarly, if we know there are new members that they don't even know they've been appointed to the board, and they have no interest in being a part of it, well, if we tell them to come in,
Well, I just,
right? If they,
you had me until you said that.
but if they, no, because
But
if
can
they
I, can I
come
expand
in-
on that? Cause you're
One- there's one thing-
just like aligning too many things. Let me talk about your first point, one point at a time. Now you're like
Okay.
stretching it out. Okay, we wanted to talk about this, but we discussed with Angel about this.
Leave me out of it.
So if you, we had a, and I want to talk to everyone, so everyone can get their opinion, because this probation thing, I think, makes sense. Right, if you've been on the board 2 years and you've never had an issue, and now you have an issue, I would imagine that this committee can decide to say that we can give you like a probation period.
Right.
Like, we can give you a probation period as long as you don't do it within the next 2 years or whatever period this committee decides, you know, a year. I think a year is really fair. Then we don't necessarily have to start the procedure right away. And why, and you should look back, I don't feel as bad as new members because I'm sorry, like, I don't know why we have this thing when they just got here. They knew, they applied, it was willing, it's a volunteer process. You have no excuse. If you couldn't make it, then, so first month maybe, but if you missed 3 meetings already,
But
like,
let's
right,
say
so my
6
point was
months
getting
and
at-
you're
But honestly,
calling,
I-
you
that's what I was
you
gonna
know,
say
but
before you-
but again, like that,
to get them out.
But we get them out even
That's crazy.
quicker.
We should
Right.
have a list.
So-
You need
so
a
the
full time to
probation-
get probation. How
so the
about that?
probation period should be for someone who's been here for some time, at least 1 term, which is 2
But
years.
probation should be for somebody that's new, right? I mean, if.
No, I meant like, let's say you've been here 2 years, David, right? And then you have bad attendance. We can put a procedure here in this committee to say, this member has been great here. She's never had an issue with attendance. Now she had an issue because she had a personal thing. She came, she spoke. Perfect. We can decide here to say, well, due to her like previous 2 years here, never having an issue, we are going to go into this probation period. So we're not going to send
Just
it,
say, okay.
just say like vote and send her to executive to remove. We're gonna say she was here 2 years, she had a good period for 2 years, she's been
That's
active.
kind of what we do it directly, right? 'Cause we never put anybody
Yeah.
off.
I mean, right,
So, you're right, David.
We just don't say it.
we just don't say it, but now we're gonna say it, you know, so that we can have procedure, right? Because that's what we're creating here, this
But the-
procedure.
But I
doesn't
wouldn't do a
exist.
whole year.
You guys are not gonna publicize.
So you would do 6 months, if you're,
Because that stays in line with the period that we're looking back anyway, right?
I
And if
have-
they can't get it together where
in
in
6
6
months.
months, and they've been there, you know.
I have a question.
One might work more.
You're gonna put that on the list that a person is in probation?
We're gonna put it in the front window.
Your
And
attendance,
the picture,
Kenny, listen to me, your attendance is fine.
Yeah, I
Every month,
understand that, but
so-
you know what, but nobody
Yeah,
still.
no, we're gonna put it on probation.
You feel.
But you're gonna put it out there in the public? No, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
it is public.
It's gonna be.
But I mean,
People don't show up, it's
I
public.
understand.
yes, I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is,
How do you
that
do-
you're gonna put a listing of everybody that's in that's like the lien list that the city puts down, whose
Yeah.
building is on lien.
No,
And then you read it in el diario, you know?
That's what I'm doing.
yeah,
That's what I did at full board. I gave everyone there, you have 3 years.
this information is public
It
anyway.
is, it's right.
There's no way, these are open public meetings. If you missed it, you weren't there, it's already public.
Yeah, but I mean that you're putting a probationary
Yeah.
list too?
We have to.
I think we
We're
should
not
have
gonna
to vote
publish
full board.
I don't believe in shaming anybody.
No, they're not.
You know,
It's not
but-
shaming. I'm sorry, Derek.
I think we should make a recommendation to put someone on probation that is ratified by the full board. Right, like, I think.
Well, everything,
It all has to be
Right, I
right.
mean,
Derek,
you gotta be
Derek,
honest.
everything-
If we decided not to recommend for removal,
Derek,
I think it's.
even
not being-
executive can't do that. Everything has to. go
Right,
to
but
It
full
still
board.
has to be
But
right.
in the past, we've said to somebody, okay, are you gonna recommit? And then we vote to not recommend the removal. I'm saying we should have to actively vote to do a probation. We've never done that before, and then that gets ratified by the.
But that's what we're talking about. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but we've never
Yeah,
done anything
But
like
not
that.
to do a list to.
That's the
to shame
conversation.
them.
So the conversation would be,
No one's even.
and I would like an initial period of time. It can't just be like a new member who just joined and he's been here 2 months and they missed 4. A full term is 2 years. You've been here good, your attendance has been good for 2 years, and now you have this issue, we're gonna give you 6 months. 6 months, like, improve your attendance. You were bad for 6
But
months,
aren't we saying that when we bring somebody in anyway, for the first kind of discussion?
but we would do it here instead of sending them to executive.
Okay.
That's what we would do. It would stay here.
So it's less.
It would be
formal.
our
It's
procedure.
not- it's not-
It's our procedure internal. It would not go to executive. It would come out of here and say, and it would go to full board. This person's been good, it's
I'm good with that.
probationary,
If
yes.
it's only comfortable, because if we gotta go
You
to
gotta
two
send this
different
to-
committees.
No,
No, no,
you
no,
guys
no.
have more, you have power, okay? Let's just say that,
Sure.
okay? One thing we were just talking about, the probation, if it's triggered, meaning you got probation and you failed your probation, you're off. There's no other vote. That was part of the due process. So you had your hearing resulted in probation. You violate probation, you're off the board. There's no vote, you're removed, done.
I bet it still goes to full board.
No, the vote at full board, what the vote would be this, based on our due process. If we're giving you probation, should you fail to meet probation, you're removed. That was the vote to remove.
I
So
don't
what's your
disagree, but let me,
probationary
Angel,
period?
could I,
Decided, yeah.
have you
Right,
chime
like
in on
what
that?
would
Is
you
that something we can do?
constitute?
Well, you guys will decide.
Can that vote be,
Like
so,
Oh, you want to do
the
it?
explanation is this.
Out of 6 meetings.
If in our
4
probation,
meetings,
right,
6 months, right?
we do a 6-month probation for some, Candy, I'm sorry. So we're going to do a probation period. 2 years, you were good, now you've been bad for the last 6 months. So for the next 6 months, you have to have good attendance. But what our chair is saying is that you can have a clause there that says, if you're not good for the next 6 months, you would automatically then be,
Removed from the board without a vote of the full board?
well, we would be voting on it like at the full
Yeah.
board. So it would be the probation
I
and
don't think
everything
you
would
can
be
say that.
board
I
at the
think
full board.
you have to just say that you then put up. for
Because the full board
removal.
would vote on the probation.
Yeah. You can't, you gotta
That's the
go.
question. Can we do it together and not individually?
The probation
And the removal. So let's say we bind, what we're trying to do is bind them.
Yes, well, the
Bind them together.
probation resolution would
Failure to
say,
meet
failure to
probation
meet
can.
probation results in removal from the board.
Right.
And the board
Removal
would,
process. You
Well,
have,
no, we can, because we will have
So
given
that,
them
so
a
that
due process
resolution
here.
would be adopted at full board.
Yes.
so it would be binding. So we
And they would
give them the
not be
probation for
bound
6
at the
months,
probation.
but if
but
they
don't they still have to
fail,
go through the regular voting process and come in?
because
for
they
the
already
hearing?
did it. We already kind of did it.
No, see.
That's
you-
where I'm
no,
asking.
No, when you say kinda,
So the-
kinda's
No,
not doing.
kind of. All right,
Right.
David.
No,
We already did it here. So
no,
this person came in. Let's start from the beginning so we're
So
clear.
Jose, you were asking.
Yes.
So I think, so like that part, in and of itself, doesn't sound problematic, that's kind of clever. But I don't know that you can vote to remove without having due process.
right.
Well, we would have due process.
That's-
Where's the?
No, we're changing what, we're doing a step before the due process, and then you can't say by doing that step, we skip the due process step.
So we would-
No, you can't.
Here's the- No, no.
Sure.
That's what we're trying to.
So it would be, someone has triggered the number that we decide upon, and we bring them in. And we sort of can go 2 different routes. If it's someone who served a full term and was a member in good standing, we can say to them, we would like to offer you the option of probation. This is what that means. In the next 6 months, you can't miss more than, and we decide that number. And if you fail to meet that over the next 6 months, and your probation was approved by the full board, then failure to meet probation would be removal from the board. And that's what everyone would be voting on at that next full board, to say, we will be giving David probation.
Does that skip the bylaw steps of removal?
No.
Because they still came in for their due process, which we will ask
having
them,
their
why are we
Okay, so
asking?
the due process has changed, you don't go before executive, you go now before oversight?
That's
I just-
something we've been talking, yes, that's something that we
I
want.
wanna
We
know.
don't need to do it twice.
So, okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, due process remains the same, you're just adding the step of the option
The option of probation.
of probation. Okay, yes, I think so.
And you don't need a second.
Not even I think so, yes,
Okay, great.
Because what the charter says
because
is,
nothing's changed. You're just adding, you're just codifying.
But you're
the
saying this is a
probation,
step,
everything. Yeah, yeah.
This-
So let's-
this is the step.
This is
All,
the-
yeah, all the steps remain the same, it's just that you're adding the probation and everything. as an
And
option.
is it all right to do that in this committee versus executive? Because that's where executive would make that
So that resolution could come out of committee, but has to be ratified by the full, all resolutions have to be ratified.
Right.
You don't
What the
have to-
charter says about removal, it says they can be removed by the borough president, which we probably still feel is
That
what
never
it actually
happened.
should be.
It'll
It'll never happen.
That's not gonna happen.
Or by a majority vote of the community board, and us as a community board can decide how does the resolution to remove someone come in front of a full board.
Because we have to remember that here, in this situation, we're giving an opportunity. So we're not necessarily like saying, no, we're saying,
just
okay,
adding.
Yeah, you just gotta find the break. that's all.
yeah, we're giving you a break.
Yeah.
You did,
You're
we're
actually
giving
getting
you.
more.
Yes.
I learned a new word.
Candy?
Okay, so you brought up a point here, that based on what we're reading from the rules, right?
Mhm.
The borough president, like someone could turn around and say, okay, the full board voted to get me out. But I think that we should just do, everybody could say yes or no. Let the borough president, as a heads up, letting them know, hey, we're recommending to remove this individual that has been notoriously, we went through the due process, we did everything, the probation, all this stuff.
I
and
don't
the
want to cut you off, but the
individual
borough
decided-
president has told us that this is an internal problem.
Okay, so
That's
then
what they
that
told
should be
us.
removed.
So
from
that's
the-
what we're doing. So we
That's
shouldn't,
city
we
charter.
shouldn't,
I just read what
we
the state
shouldn't
charter.
even, borough
I'm just
president has
saying
literally said, you guys.
We
do it."
wish they would handle it.
Okay, but I'm just stating that anybody with their own right can go and recite what the charter is saying.
Yeah, we're following the charter.
Yeah, the charter's saying either or.
Right.
Yeah.
We will be
And
following
then
the
when
charter,
we,
anything we do.
when the board issues its resolution, it goes to the borough president. Like to the member and to the borough president, so they're informed immediately. Now,
And the ones
That
that
doesn't-
were removed, you let them know, sir?
oh, yeah. So tomorrow morning, Jose will get his resolution. And Porfirio will get a copy of Jose's resolution.
And Jose would be back on the board by Monday.
And we'll print it out in the front
And
of the
that's what I'm
office.
saying, that,
No, they don't do that because they don't want to get involved. So you
Right.
can't have it both ways. They have never, as far as I know, challenged a removal. Granted, we've never made a tough one, but
no, there has been a history where the borough president has
They can
removed a sitting
But they
Can
can
they
just-
chair
overrule us?
of the,
No,
of
they
the
can just
community.
reappoint.
That's happened.
Here?
Yes, it
I don't
has.
think it's.
it, I,
Not here.
Yes, it
I was
has,
with them.
yes, it
Yeah,
I
has,
was with
yes,
them.
it
I'm
has.
not saying no,
I've
but
heard about
They
that.
did, Virginia Fields removed David
Oh,
Gibbons
They're saying that a borough
With a
president
reason.
has to.
while being chair.
so when I get removed from borough president, I'll have to go to Elsie, so she can add me. But, all right, so how do you guys feel, not getting back to this so that we don't, how do you guys feel about this probationary period? If you've served a full term of 2 years, you've been good in attendance during that time, now you have an issue. Because we would like to make this a process, so we would have to vote on it. You know, and now where there's a situation where the person doesn't meet this criteria, they've only been on the board 3 months, 4 months, they've missed all 4 meetings. Now they fall outside of this purview, there we would vote to remove without a probation period. So I just want to make sure that we all understand what we're voting on, right? Here, we're giving, let's say, the word grace because you've been a good member for an entire full term. Is everyone satisfied with that?
So I think we should write it up and then
Yeah.
vote on it next month.
Yeah,
That's what I
Get
was-
all
yeah,
the
that would be
details.
great, so we can have.
do it now anyway.
And like,
We'll do
we
that.
That's what I was suggesting.
Yeah, I didn't want to
So
vote on it
people have it
tonight,
in front of
because
them.
we're not in a rush for it, honestly, we're just,
Because we're doing the two-term.
Rosa, what was it?
So
Um,
that we should talk more about.
So like just my personal opinion, I don't like it. I just wanna continue with that, with what we're doing and just remove people. Cause honestly, we have had a lot of situations where we give a second, maybe third time opportunity.
Yeah,
It was just,
It was different leadership, and you have to understand that in this situation, you're saying that prior to this last 6 months, you had 2 good years. So to fall into this probation period, you had 2 good years of attendance.
Incredible.
That's what the probation, we're gonna write the language, yes.
Attendance,
A
not
full term,
attendance.
it says a full term. So in a full term, and we're gonna write that language, we're not voting on this tonight, we're just talking about it tonight.
I also think it will result in more removals.
Yeah.
Because,
More
more
It will.
removals, because.
Because it'll be immediate.
You're not asking people, even for the probation, because you're not asking people to get rid of them now. you're gonna get people on the full board to vote, oh, yeah, I would love to give that person probation. But we will have written the resolution such that, hey, if the person fails to
That
come,
was the vote.
there's no hard feelings. Now,
It's
now
already
they're out.
immediate.
There's a community board, and I'm pretty sure, I can't imagine this is actually how it works, because the charter says it needs to be by a majority vote of the community board, but theirs says that removal is automatic. That the chair is obligated to put up for a vote someone for removal.
With no due process?
Well, they have that, but there's no like,
See, we
there's
got
a
There's no way
committee,
around
and
it.
there's this like, if the person hits the attendance number, there's due process, and the chair
Right.
has to have the vote called. Whereas in the past, like, we just said, no, we're not gonna let that person. And I
Honestly,
leadership.
our problem has always been voting
That's-
people off.
Right.
Yeah, but the
So
way it was
let's be
voted
clear,
was like
this
a full
situation
board.
allows us
It
to
was not like
give
this.
an opportunity.
Front vote them off
And
without
to-
letting people really feel like they're voting them off.
Yeah.
They feel like they're giving them a break.
Which you are. All you
No,
have
no,
to do is
I
have
know.
another good
It's
6
subliminal
months.
messages, but okay.
Like, all you have to have is good 6 months, right? Like, for instance, if you had bad attendance for 6
No, no.
months and you can't change the next 6 months, you know,
Yes,
like this is
and
like
then-
going to school. Like eventually, you're gonna get that letter. I get that letter. Your kid's been absent this many times.
I
Like,
said
Rosa, I hear what you're saying and the frustration. The thing is, you guys can make all the tough decisions you want here. If the full board isn't gonna buy into them, which we can't promise they will, you're gonna always have that problem. But what happens with this way, it goes, they're not even gonna feel like they voted that person off. They're gonna be voting to give them probation. But what that vote is if you failed probation, you were off. That was the vote off.
It's an
It will-
automatic removal.
Right. Now, the question is, how strict do you want to make this probation? And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's gotta be pretty strict. Because you've already given them, now they gotta be at a higher standard than everyone else is for the next 6 months, in my opinion.
you can say 6 months. You can say a year. If you wanna
Whatever
be
it is,
tougher.
you guys decide.
A year is even
Well, no,
tougher.
because it's in a, yeah, fine.
Because that means you're gonna have 2 points in that period to be referenced back. I personally like the year. Because it's easy to be good for 6 months.
And no special circumstances that.
Yeah, but you know what? We, over a year, a person can affect committee more by missing more sessions, you know,
It could be
the
No,
longer-
that means that you're being looked at for a year.
Right, I know. But we're not gonna do it right away, so when do we bring the person back, right?
We're gonna be constantly checking them every month. Like, if he hits the
Yeah,
threshold
you don't
again,
bring him back.
You don't bring.
You don't bring them back.
Pick the number, and then that's it.
if he hits a threshold of 2/3, then.
You get probation, right? And let's say you guys say, it's 6 months and you gotta be at 5 of your meetings now. That's the new standard for
So,
probation.
okay.
You fail to meet
Then
them, you're off.
I need to understand this a little bit.
Yeah.
We're bringing somebody in who has not reached the point yet where we can remove them.
No, they have reached the.
They have reached,
They have
okay,
reached the-
okay,
They have reached the point of removal. But this person,
okay.
For
So
the
then
2
now-
prior
no,
years,
I
yeah.
see, this is where I just need to stop
Can
them.
I
Yeah,
just get
sure.
this? Christ.
I'd like to get to some other topics.
So what always happens with the attendance is a lot of this, very same thing, right? We go back and forth about what's the data that we're gonna use to make our determination, right? And that's not, like, that's a really good way to spend a lot of time. The issue is, once we agreed on what the data is, 3, 4, 7, whatever the number is, then it's deciding what to do. Oh, but Nilsa was at my son's baby shower. That's where it gets hard.
my God, my
So the
godmother.
way that I'm hearing this, right? And that's why I suggested they write it down so you all can see it, whatever it ends up being. It sounds like that break, that's like a long-term member, Candy. It's gonna be very difficult for this board to kick off Candy.
Why?
And because
Give
you've
you an
been here a
example.
long time and everybody likes Candy, right, that kind of thing. I'm saying, right?
Everybody
So like, you're
It
the
is.
Sterling, so that's the best example, right? So in those instances, the way I'm hearing what they put forward is, in that instance, well, Candy has a lot of good, well, one, it's very difficult to remove Candy. Candy's messed up, her attendance is horrific, but even still, it's very hard for this table to do it. So the suggestion is, the way I'm hearing it, based on Candy's long record of service, we want to give not only is it difficult for us, but we want to give her an opportunity because of that record of service, an additional opportunity to be able to, and that's that probationary period. Everybody else, Felipe just joined, he doesn't have credit. He doesn't have that record. So everything stays the same, except this is creating a process that you guys always land on anyway. Because if it's, I'm just gonna use your name to not name other people, right? It's very hard to remove somebody that's been here a long time. Like, and I know that from watching y'all over the years in the different groupings, right? I'm like, oh, is this one, that one? Okay, so this is saying, all right, in that case, that's a special circumstance. We think it's a certain circumstance, and we want to give that person a break. Now, that person has that period to be like, well, yeah, you know what, thanks, yeah, I was going through it, or whatever the hell could happen. And then they prove it, and they're off the list. Now, if that person, being long served or not, is just like, and then crosses the threshold, then they come off. I'm like, that's pretty fair, and it kind of, I think, fair, and kind of gets, that kind of speaks to the reality of when we get past the data point of this conversation every time. I had another suggestion. This is not my idea, this is me expressing it. This is my idea. To Rosa's point. So I get Rosa, because I think like that. I think numbers, that's it. I don't want to hear it, right? Catholic school. So yeah, so my thought is to make it not just easier, because Rosa will do whatever she has to do, but also you don't want to put every single variable and everybody's idea on one person, whoever it is, no matter how willing or able or capable they are. It's too much. A suggestion, maybe add something to the monthly agenda of each committee that you do, I don't know, you call that committee business or something. And you talk about your attendance during that time.
An assessment.
Yeah, so like, it doesn't have to be a big thing, it could be quick. It could be like, Jose, look, and it's been January that you've missed 3.
Yeah.
So like, Jose is the bad example, Candy's the long-term example, so nobody gets it. I'm not picking at anyone. And maybe that's a way for the committees and the chairs also, because the chairs should be doing their part too, to maintain the quorum and the attendance for their own committee, because not having quorum impedes that chair's ability and the committee's ability to do its work. And then that kind of helps too, so like Rosa doesn't have to be at every single committee, checking every single thing.
Right, the chair should be able to,
Yeah, I like that.
this individual has not been coming, X, Y, Z.
Yeah,
It's time to send them a letter.
Yeah, like,
And
look
that would
close,
make life
we have
easier.
3, we have 1, whatever.
Yeah,
And it keeps those chairs accountable.
yeah, and also quorum.
You're talking about it. You don't need to raise your hand. You've been talking.
Yes.
I love it. She's been talking. She got her hand raised. She's talking.
I love it.
All right,
But
so-
let me ask you this really quick.
Yeah.
So let's say for arguments, just on the July and August, meaning that it's not so mandatory because we're supposed to be out of session, but normally, and it's been happening all summer, these past few years, we're meeting in the
We
summer.
rarely meet in August, but sometimes we meet in July.
Yeah, but we.
I think for like a
couldn't-
ULURP, we should definitely meet for a ULURP.
For Europe, it's
And
always
it's like
been
a
like that.
conversation that like Angel brought.
But it's always been, but it depends on who's the leadership, but, but let's say the person doesn't show up to any of the meetings and we have a mandatory or ULURP
But
or,
it's just
a
one meeting we would be
special
having.
license. Would that still count? And while we're off session and this person?
Of course it will come.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not overcomplicated. It's just meetings where we met. So if we don't meet in August, we don't count August. It's just very simple. And if for whatever we don't meet it, if we don't meet in July, then perfect. But if we happen to meet in July because there's this ULURP who like had a messed up date, which we don't control. But if, like we don't control you.
You wanna be able to-
Yeah.
But what do? We just send it to executive? Like we don't have a full hearing? Like that, that's also wrong.
Right.
Because it's
Well, that's-
supposed to have the full
No, not
board.
for ULURP.
So like that kind of situation is also like, we would not try to do it if let's say in July and this conversation we had with the chair, like it's just licensing and permit stuff, then it's executive. That can be an executive thing. We don't need, but like a situation like a ULURP is a prime example of when we would have to meet because we want to give our info into that process.
And then we necessarily don't have to hold that one meeting against the larger, right? I mean, sometimes people make plans to go away because I
But
don't
that's
have
what
a
I
meeting.
mean.
That's part of
That's
the
what I'm
process.
Well, then,
saying.
here's the flip side. That's a very good point. Here's the flip side. Then we say if that's gonna be the case and it's a ULURP, And we can make it an executive and then you guys don't have to worry about your
No, we
attendance.
can't
Well,
do
then
that.
you gotta worry about your attendance.
We can't do you by executive.
Or we can say the summer months don't count. I don't know. We can do that. No, we can't do
I
that.
don't think, you know, when people are notorious, the summer month, I think that 1 month ain't gonna make a difference.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
1 month's like a
Right.
regular.
And
So if you have that one
And it's
absence,
one meeting.
It's got his hand.
Angel, sorry.
That's
No,
a suggestion.
it's okay. So I think we have to watch our language. Because the language gets confusing.
Mhm.
So we're not required to meet in the summer, but we are not on hiatus, we are not on break, we're not any of those things. It just says you're not required to meet. You can meet. His point about if you have a ULURP is true. The licenses thing, you know, with the executive thing, it's a clever way to get around that. There is no way, well,
We have to have.
You shouldn't, you have to figure out a way to deal with the licenses and permit stuff. Otherwise, you're waiving review of a bunch of liquor licenses and a bunch of street activities. And in the summer, when everybody's blocks are being closed, they're gonna want accountability, so we have to, so we have to account for that. And our members have to know that, you know, we can meet in July, and if I think we figure out how to word it, but I think we should be communicating to our members that we meet, you know, that we regularly meet in
On
July.
occasion.
Yeah, that you are accountable for meeting if we have meeting in
It
July.
is mandatory.
And it isn't,
Right.
it isn't an option, like if it's called, you have to
It's
come.
a meeting.
mandatory.
We have one full board meeting, the chair could call another one, you have to attend that call, that counts too. It's like technically,
Mhm.
so it's like people become accustomed to certain softer language, they're like, oh, but Candy said last time it wasn't required. I'm like, no, Candy shouldn't have
No,
told
it's
that.
always, but I know what you mean.
I'm gonna keep using this example, those are great rules.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to just add on to what Angel's saying. Like in the charter, it says, except during the months of July and August, each community board shall meet at least once each month within the community district and conduct at least one public hearing each month. Notwithstanding the foregoing, so forget that other part, a community board shall be required to meet for purposes of reviewing the scope or design of a capital project located within such community board's district when such scope or design is presented to the community board. That's you.
Except July and
That's you. No, so they're saying like, yeah, you don't have to meet in July and August
Right.
unless
It's a ULURP.
one of these things are happening in the district.
Which is
You
what-
have to meet and you have to hold a public hearing.
And not just a ULURP, but capital project.
Capital project.
Right.
So like
Well, then you
EDC
before,
and
you
the
wanna
ones
give your
that
plan
do
away.
people
I'm
with a ULURP.
trying,
Yeah.
I'm trying to behave.
Yeah, and on that point, we really need
So,
to ask,
Adam,
really, if they're gonna do anything.
So I would just say count the summer months, because here's the problem. Our rules are not strict. That's never been the problem. The problem is just not enforcing them. Nowhere else in your life can you get this many chances, this many missed things, this many that, at your job, at school, at anything. So it's about enforcing it. So if a summer month's gotta count, it's gotta count. Putting the probation thing in makes it actually gonna be able to remove people that need to be removed. To move this forward a little bit more, and you guys can talk about it, my idea is make the probationary period, if you're giving them 2 years, a 2-year probationary period, and it's the same standards. And so then they don't meet it those 2 years, at any point, they're off the board, they don't get another hearing.
The rest of your term.
okay, I would like
And
to,
I have one last comment on attendance.
sure.
On the late arrivals and leaving after the roll call, I will be talking to executive about this. This is on the chairs. You're gonna have to make note of who comes after 30 minutes later or more, and who is not there for the last roll call. And I'm going to expect those to be marked absent. And that's not the staff, that's on the chair. You are responsible for putting that in. Now, they're not all the chairs here, I'm gonna say this at executive, those will be absences. And if I keep catching that that's not being done, and I've sent many emails about this, then there'll have to be a conversation about it, because I don't have to be singling out and saying, well, you should have marked that person absent. It should just be getting done, because that's the process.
I think it's hard because obviously we're all friends with each other.
But it's not hard. because
We
it's
have
the
to hold
problem.
everyone accountable, because if you come an hour late to a 2-hour meeting,
And you're absent.
We don't,
Rosa?
it's,
like if it's Rosa,
Thank you. Also, with regards to disability, right? The chair or vice chair, whomever, they need to check on the screen. Because people are not showing up on the screen and they're participating and they're counting as quorum. And they're just
And
not
committees?
visible.
If they're not on camera, they shouldn't be.
They're not visible at all.
Then it should be an absence.
That just happened and I brought it up to the chair. I felt completely ignored.
Wait, what?
Happened at full board too.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about, and
Well,
that,
this happened last night,
Oh, she's not talking about you then.
but we'll
Talking
discuss
about
that.
Echo.
oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
she's not talking
I
about
mixed
you.
my days up this month. Okay.
She's not talking about you. Full board was 2 days ago. Before you. No.
Okay, I wanna say one other thing, because
But
I see,
agree with you, because that was
if
a
you
law
don't like our
anyway.
rules, I'm gonna give you guys enough power here. If you don't like the rules, if you think that that's too penal, change it. Change it. Right now, the bylaws say 30 minutes, and if you don't stay for the last roll
I mean, I
call.
don't think that's too painful.
No, what I'm saying though is, if people don't think we can do that, then propose an alternative. But if we're not gonna propose an alternative, and that's what it says, then that's what we're gonna do. And if you wanna be a chair, and that's too difficult for you to do, then maybe you shouldn't be a chair. And the vice chairs need to start stepping up, because they are not doing, they're supposed to be looking and
Yeah,
doing
no, sir.
this. So I'm just being honest with you, like, we've asked for a lot of things to be getting done, and they're not being done.
All right, so this attendance conversation is what we have so far.
If we're honest, though.
We're going to have probation language brought up to us for next month. We will have the, so we'll have the language by next month so we can hash it out. And we will then speak about we will also have some language for a procedure for committee chairs, basically sending it to the full board, saying that this committee is going to require every chair to have on their agenda an attendance situation, so they can internally start looking at it too, because they should be accountable in each committee, because that's where it affects you the most. When you don't have quorum, it's in the committee that it affects you the most. So we will have that language as well, and then we can vote on it next month. And is everyone comfortable with that? Because we still have a couple of things that are important to get to, and I think we spent an hour on attendance so far, which is understandable because it is a hot debate. Is everyone comfortable with that?
I have 2 points to make.
Sure, councilperson.
I just want to make 2 points. One, I know that the borough president gets notified. If it's one of my appointees, can I also be notified?
Thank you.
And the second point is I just want to make for the record that I am not allowed to be on camera because I don't have that access. So that's why I'm not. So don't mark me absent for this meeting, please. That was all. Thank you. I'm actually going to leave now, but great meeting, guys. Bye.
Joining
Good
us.
night.
No problem. Have a good night.
Okay, so that will be brought up so that we can have that procedure and have the committee doing it. And again, like we did every single committee, and if we narrowed it without our pauses, because we were talking, it probably took us less than 5 minutes to do. We can literally go boom, boom, boom. Like Angel has it where it's highlighted. You'll see it in red. If it's in red, and right now it's in red when it reaches 4. So you can change the setting where it'll be in red when it reaches 3, and maybe we can do something where it reaches 2, it starts turning yellow, so that can be, like just flashing in front of your eyes. And like an eye, yeah, no.
Oh, like the flashing?
No, not the flashing. But the red is set up. The red is set up that way. When you hit 4, it turns red.
Okay.
And you can do like, we'll switch it to 3 in September.
With the colors?
Yeah.
That would be also with committee meetings
Then you
también.
make it in black.
So
and
we're
white.
going to have that language so we can be comfortable send it, and that'll be something that's sent from this committee to every single, and we're gonna hold them accountable to that. They have to take that moment to look into it and be like, hey, this is not that and this. Because again, that's where it affects you the most. Like I've been in situations where we don't have quorum. Like a month ago, we had to wait for someone to come 30 minutes. But I had a lot of people there. And I'm like, how do I send? I had the MTA there as well on the 2nd Avenue subway. I'm like, I'm gonna send. So we waited 30 minutes, which is also unfair to the staff.
Thank you.
All right, because now you're making this even longer because someone's attendance is coming into place. But 30 minutes is a significant amount of time. Melissa?
So I noticed that at one point, not here, we had talked about the 15-minute grace period for meetings when people were out and no quorum. And now we're waiting half an hour just to make sure. So I think that has to be clarified. What constitutes a 30-minute wait? If, is it that we just don't want to seem like our people are unreliable and there's a lot of people there, so we want to just give the extra time? Because I can think that some community board members can then, if they're in a meeting where they were 30 minutes, that happened, but then they went to another one, so then it either should be changed, because some committees may not feel comfortable then to change or close down a meeting after 15 minutes when they know in others. I remember full board where I asked, it was after 15 minutes, and I'm like, okay, isn't this was years ago though.
No, I agree with you. That's a very good point.
It is supposed to be 10 minutes.
Supposed to be 10, and then with the
And the
5.
rest of the world somewhere written, it's 10, and we do 15, which is cool, because we're very nice. So that people are still making us wait, like Jose said, half an hour. And I understand Jose's point, like, I would love to just shut it down, but it's tough with a room full of people. But that's a tough position that the committee has put everybody else in. And there should be, I think, accountability to those that are putting the chair of whichever committee is affected and the attendees in that position. Like that's what needs to get fixed. I'm like, no, there shouldn't even, because like if you, there was a crazy thing on the train and nobody can help that, I don't think anybody's gonna lose their stuff if we go over the 15 minutes. But if it's just regular run-of-the-mill stuff and you're like, 15 minutes, let's get the hell out of here. And that's to motivate you, otherwise, you're gonna show up and the gate's down. But that bit about,
That happened to me once.
yes, I know. That's why I said.
And I've had to do that in the
But
past.
that
Where it hit
room
15
full of
minutes,
people,
and I had
that's
people
rough.
here, and I was like,
That's what I'm saying.
we're gonna
tough.
close it down.
And then in that, and like, if I may, just one last short thing, I think in an instance or an example like that, in a case like that, where it's Jonathan that is didn't come on time and Jonathan has an attendance issue, I think there needs to be a conversation with that person, like, you are causing this problem. And like, you can't be here because like I was ready, you were ready, they were ready, these people were ready, and you're not here. Like, no. Like, there has to be respect. It's not punitive. Like, there's a matter of respect and respecting people's time. I think you guys would say that's fair.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
Can I add to that?
Go ahead, Candy. No, go first.
So with that said, if they're gonna be late, the least they could do is text you, tell you, hey, I'm running late, X, Y, Z. Because then even if you.
They do though, but
I do.
sometimes.
No,
I'm
but-
still here on
He
time.
was here early and he texted me. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, because I had a parent.
Yeah.
See, I had a
appreciate
parent.
it. I appreciate it.
I'm waiting on a parent. I can't
You don't
leave.
know.
And then when I was texting you, she walked through the door. It's like, okay, I'm out.
And so what I'm trying to say is that if they should, I know that I get a text from, like, let's say Jason will say, hey, tonight is the land use meeting. Are you gonna, you gonna come, you gonna attend? Either you say yes or no, he's gonna have a heads up of how many people are actually gonna show up. Sometimes people just get caught up and then they're gonna say, not everybody's paying attention to the calendar. But it's just for your head count, so that you'll know basically more or less how many people you're expecting for quorum, or you're not gonna have.
Here's the
quorum.
problem, Candy. Like, we also have to.
But it's our responsibility to
we
contact you guys.
we can't be overly nice. If we start going down,
No,
it's a
it's
very
supposed to be.
slippery slope, because people have a responsibility. When your committee is, and I don't disagree with everything you said, but
Getting new
you
people,
can't baby
Tell
everyone,
them about that.
because then you get used to them. I think we've gotten used to people like, hey, you gotta do this. Like, you know you have to do this.
We're getting you. So I hope that
And
you
we
tell them
should-
that
we
at the
should-
initial membership.
Oh, that's part of
At the
orientation.
initial
Oh, yes,
organization.
absolutely.
So that will be.
And remember, those people are going to be held at a higher standard than everyone else.
They're gonna know.
We're really like, oh.
It's a mandatory, anyway, I see you got membership.
Because here's what happens, like, if 4 people say they're late and I don't have quorum, like, I know that they're late, but I still don't have quorum. Here's where it starts falling into place. One person does it, but if 4 people and I don't have quorum, it doesn't help me that I know. Adam?
Yeah, if there's one thing you don't have to worry about us, we're gonna make sure they know. And then two, on the back to the 30-minute thing. So just listen to the conversation we're having. If we don't have quorum for 15 minutes, our meeting's supposed to be canceled. And yet we're giving people up to 30 minutes to not be marked absent. So if that's a difficult thing to be enforced, yeah. Well, because think about it. If enough people don't show up in 15 minutes, you don't have a meeting. And then people who showed up have to go home and came here for nothing, not just guests, members, your colleagues. That's how much you care about their time and the staff so yes, think about it. 15 minutes, there's no meeting. You should have no problem marking someone absent if they're more than 30 minutes late. And here's the kicker. Now there's a probation period. So if you're late a lot and you've been here a long time, you're gonna get another chance. And really, that's it.
But would we discourage people from then attending at all, right? So like, again, in my situation, where the parent shows up at 6:30, I get here at 7:01. Maybe I go home.
Well, I'll say this.
And I'll join on Zoom just to listen. I know what I'm saying is, let's not also create a situation where we'll have half the board there and not show up because I'm not gonna be.
But here's the thing, David.
I mean, maybe if we do like the 2 latenesses equal 1 absence, so that.
But how often does that happen? Would it happen 3 times?
See, I look at my own
Yeah.
situation and I'm conscious of it, right?
I know,
And.
because you can't leave. I agree with you 100%. You gotta wait for that parent. Like,
Right.
what am I doing? I'm just gonna lie?
And
Like, I can't.
normally, there's more than 2 of us there that I can go, but it's one of them days where I was the only
But those are
director.
rare occasions. we
Right.
can say.
How many
again,
times
so
have
if
you
you
been more
have-
than 30 minutes late? You personally, just like.
When we voted on the elections, I
No,
could not get.
but like in a year, how many times would this
That's what I'm
apply
saying,
to you?
like, over the time, the
Would
period.
it be enough to
doesn't-
get you removed?
I usually get within the 30 minutes.
You're fine, David.
Yeah.
I don't think it would happen as
No, but
often
I'm
as you
also
think.
being, like today, I'm being conscious that I don't know what quorum's
Well,
gonna
it's,
be here
it's,
today.
it's I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
Yeah. No, I like again, we're a small committee, or even with Sage, it's a smaller committee, right? We had interviews. There was supposed to be 4. They made 6. Oh shoot, I'm not making the meeting, right? I can't leave.
But I think Jose made the point, like, there are certainly exceptions, and you can't manage for exceptions. It's impossible. It's 50 people, right? It's impossible. Like, you set a rule that's fair as possible, and then you deal with the exceptions as they come. In your case, David, your attendance has never been an issue, and this is a long time, right? So like, we know, like, David, you're fine. So I'm not being dismissive, but I just fucking know. I just know your attendance is fine, so I'm gonna move on to somebody who has attendance, right? I'm gonna tie up the meeting, talking about David Giordano's,
But we also are role models.
But yeah, but like,
We're all adults
like,
that we
you
all
can
sign
show
up for
up
the same
45 minutes late, and if someone scrunches their nose, then the rest of us are gonna be like, man, shut up, David's never late, right? But if it's somebody that's always late, always absent, then those are the people you're dealing with. And typically, and you guys tell me if you've observed different, or to Jose if you've observed differently, the late arriving people are late all the time.
All the time. All the time.
And the absent people are absent a lot of the time. You know, like I can't remember the last time I didn't see Nilsa at a meeting, right?
I've always
And the one thing I wanted to say, like, in terms of like the effectiveness of enforcing rules, I can't remember. Well, I can't remember. I know exactly the last time we didn't have quorum at football. It was when Matthew was here, and Mr. Calm Matthew lost his because we didn't have quorum.
Instead of making everybody call everybody.
He gave this long speech. He's like a preacher type. And to this day, we've gotten close, but we've always made quorum. And my point is that, sometimes if you enforce, like, people will get it, it's been 15 years, so.
So we're doing.
Right? Well, no, since that happened.
Jessica Elliott has her hand up.
Hey everyone, thank you. I'm recovering from a medical procedure, so sorry for being off camera, but my opinion is that if the status quo of the board is consistent excellence, then it wouldn't matter if one person was sick or late from the train because everyone else would be there and that would just be the normal. So I thought, I think that's hopefully what we're building towards. And while I have you guys, what's going on with the bylaws? Because it was mentioned at full board that there's work to do on that, which I would agree. So just curious what your plan is. Thanks.
The bylaws are an executive and
It'll
then
be this month,
it
till,
would be this
they're
one.
gonna be started
Next
this
Thursday.
Yeah.
So next Thursday, Jessica.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. She reminded me that I had like this little surgery back here, and then all of a sudden she said surgery and it started hurting. I'd forgotten about it, and then she said it, and I was like,
It's like it's a
and I can't like take it off. I was like, All right. Okay, so I think we've discussed attendance to a T. We're gonna do the probation language, the procedure committee, so we can vote on that next month. We'll have the language, we'll circulate it before the meeting. That way, if you have questions, and we can kind of sort that out. Because next month, I'd like for attendance to be a very short conversation, because we have to focus on orientation and training. We'll go through we have grievance procedures, which we had a little bit of clarity from the borough president's office, right?
No,
Still?
city law.
City law, I'm
I
sorry.
I send you all the emails.
Yeah.
So we just, I think maybe you guys Derek kind of sent me his notes. They were aligned with me on how we're gonna respond to those questions. If you guys trust that I'll know what to say, or if you guys, I'd rather you guys tell me what you want to say. You want to read them out loud? They were pretty straightforward questions from them.
Do you want? Yeah,
I don't have them in
I
front
can
of
do
me.
it.
Yeah.
All right, so the first question was around what third party would conduct the hearing for the after hearing review? We'll do one by one.
They're asking us that.
Yeah, they want to know from us.
That'd be oath.
Yep, that's what we think.
All right, and the next question, who would select the third party? The board, the person filing the grievance, or someone else?
Wait, who would select? Well, so
And then how would you choose that someone else?
the third party, so then one can get
The borough
canceled out.
president's office could be the third party.
Their argument is like, if we say, we think the third party should be oath.
Okay.
They're
Give them
saying
options.
if there's options to pick, if it's
Sure.
oath and something
They
else,
don't want to.
who gets to pick
They
from
do.
those things?
Them pick.
You would say
Let them, well,
the person filing the agreements who gets to pick the third party?
Sure.
The board picks
Why?
the third party?
Their
or someone
grievance. Let them feel comfortable.
No, it's our grievance against that person,
No.
and if we're sending it
It's
to
opposite.
oath.
It's their grievance against someone
Another
else.
board
On the
member?
board.
We're not doing that, talking about.
It is not us complaining.
it's the person
It's
who
them
filed the
complaining.
grievance against the other member.
Yeah.
Right, so let's say we get into an argument, this is as an example, right? If you and I don't agree, we have a problem and I feel threatened, you said some words and I just feel a type of way, I bring that to who? To the oversight or
It would come here. We're talking about what would happen if we come to an agreement about what's gonna happen and you don't like the decision or you don't like the
Then we
decision.
pick the board. Yeah, because you know what, then it's not fair to either of them.
If you give too many options,
It's
it
the
doesn't
oath,
work.
it's oath, and then it's the
That's it.
board, and that means you're going to oath.
That's
So
it.
that answers both questions.
Well,
That's it.
is the borough president an option in that question? Because in the past, when there was a complaint, it was the borough president that dealt
And
with
I'd
that
argue
complaint.
that they're biased.
But that borough president was more responsive.
No, I don't mean in a bad way. I mean, they're putting people on.
But it could be an option.
They're not really a third party.
They're not really a third party because they've appointed people.
They could also just remove you.
Right. I think I think oath is like you go in there,
With
there's
more
like
respect.
an angry person who wished they could have been a judge, and they're like,
I don't think
I know,
no one
Adrian,
better
I know.
than who appoints you and can remove you to look over.
But I'm saying that's not a third party.
God help me, I go there sometimes.
Well,
Well,
the
listen,
third party, well, it
I'm
depends how
advocating
we,
for the work they
depends
do,
how we
they'll do
define
it.
third party. Why couldn't it be a third party?
Third party means
Because the
they-
third party is, we are the internal party. There's two people, we are the other party. It's
We have
the
to get
member
somebody
and
outside.
us.
If the questions were about what happens if once this.
So that can
group
be a question.
makes a
Is the
I'll
borough
tell you why,
president,
the borough
people don't
president, it's
like
a new
power
one.
determination.
right.
It's a new
That's
borough
the level
Too
we're talking.
bad.
because in the past, when two members had, the borough president called them up. Let's go. You in each room, let's have this conversation, and then they made a determination.
When was this?
What about a mediation
Oh,
group
with
then?
the-
An outside mediation group?
That was during Matthew's time.
What's wrong with oath? Because oath is
There's
gonna be
nothing wrong with
totally
it.
impartial. they're gonna make a decision.
Okay, can we just respond to that question saying, is the borough president's office at their, we can say, is oath is gonna be a yes.
I'll
It's gonna be
say
a
why,
clear yes.
because you have to look at borough presidents will change. So you may think that this borough president is gonna make decisions and bring them in, and maybe the next one isn't gonna do that, right? We just talked about how, let's argue the last one wouldn't make any
But then
decision.
that's when the board has the decision as to which third party, right?
Why don't we just always make it oath and we decide?
No, Hof is a judge, so.
I mean, oath doesn't care, and I wasn't insulting them, but I just mean they're very matter of fact. You're gonna
Yeah.
go in, they're not gonna care who you are, what you like, they're gonna say, what are the facts, and they're gonna make a decision.
I don't have a problem with Oath.
They're more of a third party
Than anybody,
Okay.
they have no involvement.
Can they be the third party?
Yeah, they can, but that would, could be a question.
Yeah.
For the whole
It's
city.
so clean.
You're all agreeing.
For a
Yeah.
whole city.
All right,
Even deals, yeah.
and we
everyone.
decide.
What was the
All
next
right.
one?
All right, so the next question, what grievance procedure would be followed both by the board oversight committee or the third party? And I think that is the bigger conversation. What's the, who comes in, who talks, what questions get asked? how much
Angel
time
showed me a
people have.
great diagram, and it was my mistake. I
Yeah.
should have forwarded it to you guys. It was a great diagram, which kind of deals between like a member and staff, and then staff with member, which is great. And then what we have to do is like member or member, right? Which we could create from that staff. And it basically
Staff on
says, so I'm gonna forward it to you because it was a great thing. So I loved it because it was very like,
Could be.
oh yeah, that one. That
I'm
thing
not
is.
gonna show it.
No,
Just
yeah.
They
email
may
them.
have their own.
Yeah, so we're gonna send this to you, and again, that was my mistake. But it basically says, if this, then do this. If yes and no, so it's very like procedural, which is what we're trying to accomplish here. So I think we can kind of create one member to member, because that's what we were doing. Here it deals with like staff to member and member to staff, depending on where
The conflict is.
the conflict is. There's sometimes the staff, it could be staff to staff.
Yeah, that's
Well, you have the EEO for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right. You have your own internal.
Well, no,
Stuff.
that's
No,
all, so like if it was an EEO thing,
it goes
have to
then it goes to
directly.
the borough president's office, and there's an
Yes.
officer that, so that's already kind of settled. If that happens to be the issue, if it's just you were mean to me or something, then that's something for maybe internal.
Okay.
But if it would, right, if it met.
They would go through the normal
something like
process
that,
of an
That,
appointment.
that
Right.
all, always fully handled by the DP's
Mm-hmm.
office.
So what I suggest
And we
that,
all know.
that I send that to us and we work on that, and then we look at it next month, so we can kind of see it clearly with the other 2-3 things. And we can send the answers.
Yeah.
To, can
The
you,
next question was, this one's easy. Do you envision the grievance procedure applying only to staff or also to board members? And we're talking about staff to member to
And they
staff.
assumed it was everybody
Everybody.
already.
They said they did that.
Everybody, yeah.
And then the last question is, are any staff represented by a union?
Yes.
Yes.
Answer is
yes,
Okay.
You think we should tell them which ones?
Which unions?
Which union?
which is,
They didn't
They're
ask that.
Well, if they're asking if they are, they clearly don't know it.
Well, we can just say,
They don't know what our staff composition is.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm gonna
yes.
get more
let's do
information.
something.
I would just say yes.
All of y'all are the same?
Include, so
The
they're
same
DC.
No, the only union is
DC
Parliament.
37.
Arlene's union,
Oh,
Arlene's.
So we
you're not, because you're manager.
we gotta work on 3, right? So do I just tell them that you guys are gonna work on this? Or do I give them the answers we have and say we're working on number 3? I think we do
Can
that.
you repeat 3 again, just to refresh?
Three
our
was
minds?
what grievance
gonna
procedure
take
would
you
be
guys.
followed by the board oversight committee or the third party? And I guess that's
Yeah.
something to consider.
I think you
If go
should
to oath,
answer,
does oath have what? We
Their
can direct
process.
oath how we want them to do it, or do they have their own way?
I think you have to tell them what it is that you want them to, yeah, the terms, and then they'll make a determination based on what you're providing them. Like, here's a procedure, here's a complaint, and then how does it match up, and then they'll say
And do we
that.
provide like what we did,
Yeah.
or do they view it fresh? Like we just say this was our decision?
I don't know, so I won't say, but I did want to say before I escape my mind, because of different scenarios on the staff one, because they asked one about staff.
Yeah.
Maybe an acknowledgement in the response about, like, we know that the EEO stuff is already handled by our president, so this would be, except any grievances except for that, because that's already handled by the
Okay,
borough
so
president's office.
EEO is.
So
The
it's like
EEO
called-
officer
yeah, that
terms.
one's,
Yeah, that's a whole thing, and
So I
Do we
think your
wanna
idea is
just,
good.
do we
Your
just
idea
wanna
is
leave
to-
staff out of our purview?
But I think,
No, I think it's
We-
fair.
we
I
keep
think
it-
it's fair.
I
You
think,
may have to put that in more rhyme for me.
I think it's good to,
The EEO thing, what am I saying exactly? Just say it to me again.
EO goes
So-
directly to borough
Yeah,
president.
so-
There's a
so-
procedure.
That's for the staff.
We're gonna develop,
No.
like, issues
Any
for grievances,
EEO grievance?
except for EEO
Borough
grievances, which we
Okay,
recognize are
gotcha.
already managed fully by the borough president.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
So
that
it's like they're carved out.
That doesn't matter if it's
Okay.
staff or
But if it's
anything.
staff and
EO.
member,
So the borough,
Still,
so,
president.
Okay.
so the borough president's office has an EEO policy that we adhere to.
Okay.
We always have, so like when we get asked by the city what our policy is, like, we adhere to the borough president's policy, which we have up on the board, and then in that, then it says, okay, you talk to the EEO officer, da, 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 da. You can also, if you have such a complaint, go to the state, et cetera, but the first,
Is EEO.
so like step one is always there, you can always go other places, but that's where.
Okay, so EEO grievances go to
Borough
the,
president.
all right, and then everything else we'll.
So is the committee comfortable, the chair's gonna answer 1, 2, 4, and 5, we can tell them that 3 we're working
And
on.
I'm gonna, I put the
That way we
paragraphs
can
in,
get
I'm
some
gonna forward
answers.
you guys the actual emails,
You know.
and see them.
Yeah, so we can get some answers in the meantime while we work on the 3, which 3 we would be doing from here to next month.
Okay.
Everyone's comfortable with that? Perfect. Okay, so then let's move forward, quarterly reviews, we're gonna like hit or miss with this, like I said, full board, and I like that. I think that we should be open to hitting or missing. It shouldn't be like a fear of ours to try something new. Like, let's just try it and see how it goes. The next one would be in June, so we have plenty, we have 2 months, we have 3 months to present it in a way where everyone's comfortable. As I said, we discussed it, and we thought the fairest way for everyone would be like the chair, the vice chair, and the district manager to see it. And when I'm the chair of public safety, I wouldn't be seeing it. And when he's the liaison, he wouldn't be up. You know what I mean? And then we get the feedback. So the people that are seeing it, those between the 2 or the 3 people, will give the feedback to the chair. And by that, we are allowing it, if someone is saying something like disastrous, just something like we're like, okay. Now, if 10 people are saying this, then we're gonna be like, you should know that like your entire committee is feeling this way. Because the whole point of this for you to give you a time to improve, so that you can make this better, right? Like you have to be open to this situation.
It's democratic too. It
Yeah.
makes the chair, it makes my job easier, right? If I'm gonna base my decisions off of data you guys are collecting and this and that, I think it's all about giving people opportunities so that when we have to make a decision, we've seen everything through as much as possible.
I mean, I would get 2 of these.
This was a liability issue, so.
So it's just, it's a way for us to improve. And there are members that are more like, they're maybe they want to participate more and they don't know how to. And this is a way for us to like engage them and be like, at least they're asking my opinion. We have members that don't speak one word in an entire meeting. And it's multiple of them. And I've seen it because that's been dragging me to these committees. And I'm just like, I know who's going to speak and who's not going to speak. And I can tell you that it's like, they're there and they're like, and roll call is the only time they speak. So we'll be having that so that we're ready for June. We had a little homework with orientation, board expectation and orientation. D&E kind of fall together. We're going to have a lot of new membership now. You saw that the last members that came in felt very like they, as much as it was, we're going to try to give them more support. So that it's not just like leading them a certain way. It's really just making them feel comfortable with the procedure. Because once you go to your full board meeting, right, the 30 days happen, you're voting on something. And a lot of times it feels very overwhelming. Done?
One idea I've had is each committee chair can try over the summer virtually, because it's not mandatory or anything, to have kind of like just a a mock committee meeting where you kind of walk through an agenda, explain to them the procedures of that committee, what would happen if a vote happens. Because here's the thing, right? We're going to create opportunities for people to get engaged, to learn, and to participate. If they choose not to do that, there's not much we can do. If we see it's not working for everyone, we can reevaluate and try to be more creative. But I think the thing is giving people the opportunities to get onboarded so they don't go, I'm on a committee, I have no idea what I'm doing. I might do one with full board, or maybe just explain that to them so they can hit the ground running. So it's not 6 months later and they're saying, I still don't know what I'm doing. Like, that's a long time to not be able to know what you're doing. So yeah, I think the committee chairs have to also start being able to like have these talks with their members, and kind of like you said about bringing up the attendance, being like, is there anything anybody wants to talk about me? If it's licenses, it's very procedural. You put new members on there, they don't always understand the procedures, or it's confusing, or this and that. You need the chair to be able to say, come to me, let me explain it to you. This is what happens. This is what happens. I think that's how we'll onboard people correctly. To have, we'll have our general orientation, but then they're going to have to learn specifics. And so, I mean, that's just my opinion.
So in terms of what you're just saying, new members get assigned in July?
No,
So,
May.
no, they get assigned to the board,
Committee.
to committees,
no.
Committee assignment.
committee assignments
Committee assignments of the summer.
in the summer.
When in the
Because,
summer could I
right,
do them?
because based on what you're saying, then committee chairs would only get their listing maybe at the end of July, depending on how it goes. So then these mock committee meetings
Good
will
question.
happen in August.
Yeah, because that's a timing issue.
So if the board members are coming in May and they're encouraged to go to different committee meetings to get a sense of the different committees around, then they will be seeing how a committee is run. They will see committees in action. So I would suggest then that the orientation be more specific to what you're saying that could happen in August. That could be part of an orientation where a mock kind of meeting could be videoed, where they can at least see it if they need reinforcement, and then the chair should encourage a one-on-one with the members or doing something based on when they're assigned.
I agree. My only concern is they're probably not going to watch a meeting. The other
That
concern,
would be part of their orientation.
Yeah.
but we don't know if they're going to watch it. The other concern is attending. I hear you, attending it, but the problem is they attend the meeting and they're new and they're watching us do their work. They're going to sit there. They might have questions. They might not know things. They're not going to talk. The idea of creating this environment is it's a safe place with people who are in the same position as them. And we may have you have the chair there, and now it's a place to ask questions. You're not holding up work. You don't have people in the public, so it gives them an opportunity to be dedicated to them, to learning about that. If I need to put people on committees quicker, whatever we can do realistically, we'll do that to give to let there be more of a window. I hear what you're saying too, but I feel like, hasn't that always been an option to come to the meetings and see which committees you want to be on? They've always done.
Yeah.
But how does that work? It hasn't really worked great.
There are people that come every
And there are
week.
people that don't.
And
I went to one.
right.
But here's
But
my
does that
problem.
count as attendance when you're not, like,
And
see
that-
again,
and
that's,
We don't
No,
really
'cause you're not on the
do
committee.
No, I'm
Half
just
an
saying.
hour ago, we've moved
no, what,
them.
We can do
No, I'm sorry, Rosa has her hand up. Rosa.
With that regards, and they're still on my committee, I know for sure Fernando came to the Environmental Open Space Committee before, she was, and their chancellor also, right? So I think it was also, like, a lot of people came and they stayed, you know what I mean? And I announced it during full, but please join my committee, we meet this
Yeah.
time and that day, and they came. So like, I guess it works for
This is an initiative.
chairs that are being proactive and always saying things.
On that note, we're not even entertaining like public members that haven't come to the committee at least twice. in that regard.
Right.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Derek and then Kenny.
So this is a question for Dan, like, is it possible to appoint new members to like a new member committee that meets once in June, right, the last month? So they've gone to at least a full board if they're with us, and some work is done there. It would be their first time, David, getting their attendance taken and then being sort of held accountable for that. And then maybe we could build in some of those ideas of like chairs or vice chairs come by and talk a little bit about what's going on, and then at least it's like another opportunity of like, this person didn't come, because if could be good reasons why you don't go to the full board of May and June.
So,
Right,
No,
you
have
Yeah,
to.
no, you have to. I'm saying like, there are reasons why someone just got appointed and don't go to those two because they found out the week before and like they're not.
But then I
and they
think it
don't know
says,
anybody.
if you're taking this responsibility and taking 4 months to apply, and you're waiting for an answer, then my commitment,
You're ready to go.
right,
And they're told by the borough president. I get where you're going.
Right.
I'm gonna disagree, Mr. Principal.
Yeah.
They're told repeatedly
Yeah.
by
I know.
every single place possible,
Mhm.
including the borough president that goes through that whole process. You are appointed immediately, and it says it in their letter of you saw it like last week before. They know. I like that idea of the new member committee. I would say required for May and June.
Yep.
So technically, I think,
Exactly.
I think Adam
I love
was
that.
kind of asking this. So, per the charter, you're supposed to be appointed April 1st. The last couple of borough presidents have been lax. Their appointments have been coming in late. I forget which chair ago we, decided, well, since the appointments are coming in clumsy, and they're not giving us a chance to members to be there April, May, June,
right, because that's.
let's kind of give them a pass from committees so that they can kind of feel it out, and they're invited, and they have been invited. Rosa did tell people.
Oh, I didn't say
And
that.
frickin', Jason was like practically threatening people to come to his committee, right? Like, many chairs have done it, right? David did this a few cycles ago, with youth inviting people. But and that's awesome, but it's up to them ultimately if they're gonna show up or not, and you can't control it. But I like that idea about the new member committee, and I would suggest require it, like you have to come, you will be marked absent, this will be included in your, I don't know, however you can punish them, but something to get them to show up, and then you can do all those ideas, I like that idea. But them like missing the May full board meeting, that's inexcusable, like, no. And, whatever, we've all had classes in college and whatever, like, you get your syllabus,
Right.
that's it, get to
Right.
work. There's no hand holding, and it's not punitive, like, I find it kind of frustrating sometimes with members that are always looking for another excuse. I'm like, there's a lot of help, and we're willing to offer more help, as, evidenced by this conversation. But at the end of the day, like, the communication takes two, like, you have to do your part, whoever you are, new member, for you to be saying all these months later, oh, I don't know. No one's expecting you to know every single thing, right? Other than Candy that's been here 30 years,
No.
right?
Yep.
That, like, Candy can't ever say she doesn't know, that's not fair. Everybody else, maybe they missed the first 5 years. But like a brand new member is not being expected to do that, but the basics, yeah, it's a community board, it's a government agency, you vote immediately, this is what it, and if you don't know, respectfully, I think to David's point, you shouldn't have applied, because you're putting now your laziness or lack of initiative on other people. I'm like, no, you're responsible for yourself. We will help veteran members, more veteran members, less veteran members, tall people, we'll do it. But you gotta do your part. Like, I did my orientation with them. There were 3 or 4 didn't show up, and I've never seen them since. So for them to then hold up your meeting, oh, I don't know, like, I'm like, that's on you, buddy.
I'll tell you that I would disagree with having a new member committee, and I'll tell you why. I would prefer that we do it here in this committee. This is the board oversight committee, and I
But
would,
then that's
I
fine,
would,
I think
I would
that's.
want
good.
them to come to this committee, particularly in that May and June. Because
And we do the
this
other
committee is made up of people with experience, and we can funnel like an hour in the beginning of just like, this is how you make a motion, this is how you do, this isn't like, I would prefer it being here than to have like another
And
committee.
I'm not putting 7 new members on licenses again.
But, yeah, Candy and then.
So, I agree with you, because the new membership, we should be able to tell them, this is the grievance committee, this is the.
Right, because everything we're gonna talk about
Everything
is
that
here.
we're gonna tell them, we
Oversight
created.
committee.
It's
That-
true.
Yeah,
She's changed the name to grievance committee.
no, yeah, I know.
I keep hearing that, the oversight.
Because we're talking grievance, all this time we're talking grievance.
We rarely
No.
have grievances.
No, but
Also,
what I
just
wanna say-
like, we just wanna have a process.
Yeah, but what I want to say is that before I even joined the community board, that I said, okay, I'm gonna dive in and jump in, I attended more than 3 meetings. No, because this way you know,
Yeah.
this is something you're gonna commit yourself. This is something that you're gonna not only go there for yourself, but for the whole community. You're making a decision. So if you're gonna take it serious, honestly, I feel like if anybody
So
wants
you're
to
in
apply,
agreement with having it,
I agree that, everybody should just come to these meetings. And come to different meetings so that you know if you really wanna be a community board member. Because it doesn't make sense that you're gonna apply, you get selected, and the one that really wants to be on board doesn't get selected, and then they don't show up.
we got
For
11, we
months.
got like 11 people.
We don't even know who they are.
Those
We
are
call
good.
out their name, I look around,
Nelson,
just
go
so I
ahead.
know what they look like.
As part of the orientation and training of new members and based,
You guys are having separate meetings. Nilsa,
As
go
a-
ahead, Nilsa's speaking.
as part of the orientation and training of new members on the board oversight, one of the suggestions that I would have is that that's the time to think of maybe pairing old and new, current members with new members. I would also think that that would be the way of, like you mentioned, how to make a motion, but how to write a resolution, what's the points of resolution? Because if we're moving towards having documentation and resolutions and stuff like that, and having them almost like a fact sheet of who they should call, which could have numbers immediately based on the board oversight. So if they have a question, then they can contact people here, specifically if board oversight is taking that lead.
No, I agree. It's a good point. But that's why I would like for us to make this here, and we can work on this. We are in March. So we have April. So we have April and May. Because by May, we should be having, depending on when they're.
You can't count.
Sometimes they're, but for sure,
Let's
June.
just call it May.
For sure, June. I think we aim for June, like 110%, but like May,
I
like
would
it's out
say
of
do
our
it for
control.
May, and
I would-
knowing
yeah,
that not everybody would show, and then.
Because they may not even be
No,
assigned
right.
yet. Like, that's just out of our.
I have another idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have another idea. Maybe we could bundle what we've been doing with this new idea, which is, I think, really good. Where you require them to come to 2 board oversight meetings, that's part of their orientation.
Right.
I do my bit with them still, and we do the
Committee?
collegial thing that them.
Cafecitos?
Yeah. No.
La cafecito, please.
No, I'll meet with them
The-
to like
the-
actually tell them things.
No, what I was gonna say is like, the let your
The
hair down, let your hair down, talk like people.
Yeah, that's what
And
I.
that's 4 things that they're doing before
Within the
the
first
summer
2
break
months.
and.
Right.
Oh, plus whatever else you come up with.
We'll hit
But I'm
them
saying,
with
like,
questions.
I like
We don't wanna
what we already
overwhelm them
Yeah,
either.
and I think orientation, you got that as part of this, so.
We
Yeah.
might as well do it here. Everyone, the committee's pretty like happy with that overall?
But if they're gonna come here, and we're gonna require it, and then they don't show up, they're not on the committee. So how do we penalize
But that's
that?
their first attendance, that's fine.
It's
Those are
not if they're not on the,
mandatory
if they're not on the.
Or they
But
can't,
they're
where
already
would they be marked
appointed,
absent?
when they're
First
already
of all,
appointed to the board.
You know,
You're the
I
chair.
think,
I got an idea. Let me ask you this. Would that meeting be only dedicated to that? Would you guys be doing any other work at that month if we?
I would say that you'd have to have
We would.
Yeah,
the
you
portion of, you would.
We would,
I
we
got
would
an
give them a
idea.
good
I got an
portion.
idea. Have a
We
special
could do
committee
a
meet,
separate
for the first
meeting,
hour.
right.
call that a special committee. You're all members of that. They're all members of
They're
that. They gotta
welcome
be
to
present.
stay.
And then when that hour's up, it's board oversight time and they can leave. They're not.
And we're
counted.
doing this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for attendance?
No.
Because otherwise,
Wow.
what, yes.
To give them orientation.
No, but you want them to come, right?
Yeah.
You want to require them. If there's no way to mark them absent, then there's no mechanism to really hold them accountable for not coming. So what I'm saying is if board oversight met at 6:30 tonight, from 6:30 to 7:30, that would have been the special new member orientation committee. You're all members and all the new members are members. At 7:30, that special committee ends and then board oversight starts and they can stay or they're excused. They're not required to be here anymore.
I think it's,
That's the only way you're
I
gonna
think
get
it's
them
overly
involved.
complicated, but if we want to do attendance, I'm fine.
I think it's overly, you have to understand something too. The only people that don't have to find this overly complicated are the people sitting at this table.
Because we
You
would
guys
know
don't.
who they are, right? Like, it's a matter of like,
That'll be on
Maybe
me.
reaching out to them, right? I mean, as opposed to, you've been accepted for board meetings this.
You send, you get a listing, correct me if something's changed, you get a listing of the new members, you usually send also something, right? So if something is already set up in April and May for the new members, and you already have sussed out dates for board oversight for May and June, that is part, that can be given to them in May, where they already know when they're expected to come.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a thing, and then in terms of putting the new members first and then go to board oversight, I will flip that. I will have them see what board oversight, see how a meeting works, right? And how people, and then
that's a good point.
have them also participate, right? Maybe they don't sit there. Maybe there's a way that we do like a circle or something, so that they, right, kumbaya.
Like s'mores.
You know what I mean? And then,
I think
but
that's a good idea.
you can definitely let them, you can do something now and in April already have a letter in your
So
plans
I
of
do,
what your.
so I do
result
send a
is.
letter, I'm sorry, go right.
Yes.
You do.
I do send a letter immediately, because I was thinking of another letter for them.
Yeah.
Maybe we both sign it,
Mhm.
and then we include those 4 events.
And those are them, and they have to
Welcome,
come
whatever,
with,
unless
right?
you want to do a separate letter.
No, I want a heart around our names together.
Well, that I'm not gonna do. It's gonna be a line.
Well, the arrow.
And those are the
Yeah, I
maximum
would just
days.
say, I agree with them attending a meeting and attending what we do in our part of the meeting. But if our primary focus is to get them there to do orientation, then that's what we need to do first. Because they're gonna hear something else, and then they're gonna be tired of hearing us go on. And now we want you to focus on how do you behave in the
That could be
meetings.
part of their orientation.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
It doesn't
I say do it
necessarily.
You're gonna have to get used to some real.
Right, no, but I'm saying,
Like,
get them in
But
here
you know what we
first,
can
give
do,
them their
David?
orientation.
What we can do is, we can have our
And then they see
agenda
how
set
they
up in
meet.
a way where our agenda is very brief. Because by then, our agenda will be brief. We are working out the kinks. These are the longer things. We're gonna have language by then.
No,
It'll
we don't
be
want them
like-
maybe sitting in here when we talk about removing people.
Oh, I mean, maybe we do, because then they'll know that we're serious about attendance.
But I think we should have them,
Yeah.
we should concentrate
Because
on
we
them
want them
first
to
as
sit and watch
orientation,
us anyway.
and then have them stay with the meeting. 'Cause
All right.
they will lose some of it as it goes on.
Alright, so figure that out, we'll make them come those 2 meetings.
Yeah, we like those 2 meetings. So I think we agree that May and June we agree that May and June they should come.
Yes.
We'll
They
figure out like the
Mandatory.
And,
mandatory,
and, you know, we have
Special
representatives,
committee.
even from enough
well,
chairs,
special committee.
committees.
What happens to the book?
you know.
Then you
Bookie,
give to the new members.
The what?
They
You
come
have
in.
stuff.
he's
The
still doing that.
orientation.
He still does that. He would still do that.
No, I have a whole webpage for them.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's even better.
And
You
listen,
can
I
send
agree
it
with
to
you.
It's beautiful.
It's more up to date
I
than the whole
talked about
book.
it.
Yeah, and I agree with him, because anybody that's gonna join the board should be looking at
But
that.
website
website.
has everything.
So thank you for mentioning that. I think maybe part of one of those orientations could be walking people through some of the things that
How to navigate the air
drive.
table.
They're gonna
all
be
that
more
stuff.
informed than the old
that they
ones.
have available to them.
How are we gonna get the old members up?
Because there are members that like don't know and they'll ask, you know. So kind of walking them through, I'm like, okay, this is what this is, this is what that is.
And the tools that they have
Yes,
available for
yes.
them.
And by engaging them early, they're going to expect
right.
And how to do
what
minutes.
our expectation of them.
And they're gonna be welcomed.
Yeah.
You know, I think a
You
lot of
gotta
it's
give
just,
them that welcome, don't give them
they,
that
I think that, but I think that sometimes they feel like they're not being embraced. Let's embrace them.
Yeah, so how you gonna praise them, bringing them cookies and so.
And I'll throw a summer party or two, you know.
You know, I'm still a stickler that we should have some water or granola bar or something at all our full board meetings.
There's water.
Everybody's hangry.
There's always water.
I've been drinking.
Yeah, but not at the full board meeting.
There's a thing outside.
I bring my water
Pero
bottle.
aunque sea 50, 55.
Everyone?
You come in, they question.
Every member
I
should
think we had a
bring
good
one.
meeting.
In your opinion,
You know.
should it be,
I'm
should
saying-
the full board happen first and then you do it, or do you would you like oversight to have an introduction, then the full board, depending on when they get put on?
I think,
we get it.
I think we always will be after.
But you know what, Nelson makes a good point, because you know, they come to that first meeting and that, like, I gotta vote, I don't know. Maybe they need to come here first and understand, you will be voting that first meeting.
That's right.
Whether you have-
count right
I know
away.
your point, but a lot of this will depend when they get set up too,
You don't know when.
Yeah, I mean, them letters used to go out April 2nd.
but not
Not
anymore.
anymore.
Last year was what, end of May they were setting up? It's like end of May.
They're told immediately.
Which is that?
They're told immediately. Like, when you say immediately,
When they get appointed in their letter, you are a full member.
immediately, right?
I mean, I got a letter today from our president. It almost sounded like I would no longer be on the board. It was
I got that, we
Did you get
received
that
your
language?
application, we'll let you know what next steps are.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Well, at least it's acknowledgement.
Right.
Before
I
we
mean,
get
the
anything.
wording sounded very like, the wording was like, and if you want to be a public member, click here. Oh, okay, yeah. I was listening, I'm like, okay, they could really work on their like tone.
Bedside manner.
I'm like, shoot, if you want to remove the vice chair, I'm all with it. My daughters
You're not
would
gonna
love
appoint
it.
both-
My daughters would be
appoint
like,
both of them.
community board again?
Bring
They
them.
know.
Imagine.
That's how really you sleep.
That's enough.
7 o'clock,
They're supposed to talk.
they don't like waking up. All right, so we.
Every single day.
I'm sorry?
Thursday, Friday.
All right, so we have a lot of work to do, and I think with that, we are welcome to end. We are gonna do our ending roll call, and everyone's still here, thankfully, so we don't have to mark anyone absent.
Committee members, when I call your name, please answer. Present, Jose Altamirano.
Present.
Rosa Diaz.
Present.
David Giordano.
President.
Nelson Ramarama.
President.
Rosa Stewart.
That's so wonderful.
Deborah Tony.
Present.
Candy.
Present.
Hilda, thank you. We are officially adjourned. Thank you very much for your time, dedication. It's gonna be good stuff. We're gonna go